Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. We've got another panel discussion right now, which I think you're going to enjoy. This one is all about scale and about we're calling it alternatives to the big boys. That is, meeting the changing needs of consumers and owners and the extent to which the huge international operator groups are being challenged by smaller, more local competitors. And we've got a terrific panel to talk about this, so I believe they're all ready. Let me introduce them. I need my glasses for this bit. So please welcome to the stage Mohamed Awadalla, who is CEO of Time Hotel Management, Andrew Reitmaier, who is Director for Corporate Development at Oakwood, and Thomas Grundner, who is VP Sales and Marketing at JA Hotels and Resorts. So all three of you take a chair up here. Somebody forgot their glasses, but thankfully I've got mine, so we'll get those to the right owner. So welcome all three of you. I don't know if you were all with us this morning, but in one of the panel discussions I was asking Ian from the Hilton Group whether he believed that companies like his, the huge global conglomerates, were close to a threshold beyond which they wouldn't actually be able to grow much more, or that actually they were reaching a point where it would be dangerous to grow much more, and he clearly didn't agree with that concept, and their growth ambitions, and he specified their ambitions in China and India and elsewhere, are still massive. So the big boys are still keen on their M&A activity, they're growing ever larger. Where does that leave scope for smaller players? Is it time to appreciate the strength that smaller players can bring? So I want each of you to give me an opening perspective on that. Andrew, why don't you start?
Well, I think that there's always opportunity for niche operators to enter the market, and a lot of the niche operators are looking sort of further afield at the creativity of looking at social media. So the big boys typically, what's happening in the market is, when owners come to them for agreements and trying to get them on board, they're pretty much tied into golden handcuffs. And I think that's where the gap in the market is for the niche hotel operators, who are far more flexible in terms of the contract terms, in terms of the way they look at PIP.
But I'm going to start, if the handcuffs are golden, made of gold, why wouldn't you willingly put them around your wrists? Because, you then have a reliability, a stability factor, which has been discussed on this stage this afternoon, which you guys, with less of a track record and less of a global reach, you simply can't match.
No, sorry. We can, because actually the cuffs they have, this is easy for us to uncuff it or to use it. No, really, because they have a contract where every needy details in it, which is no need. Half of it, it's no need, believe me, if you go through it. It just need when, as you said in the morning, when you have some problems and it come out of the drawer. We don't do this. We make it easy. If you have a problem between us, thank you very much. We shake hand. I don't need this issue. Take your hotel, I take my sign, and let's go friends.
So you're not interested, you've never been interested as a smaller player in the long duration contract that the big boys often insist upon, the 15, 20, 25-year contracts?
No, this is too much. My contract is between 10 to 15 years.
Right.
Even some owner, they ask for 5. I can do it, but it's not good for the operation, because till the hotel start to have a place in the market and you start to establish, the 5 years will be gone.
Okay, well, on this opening thought of what the smaller players can offer, the advantages you have, Thomas, you give me your pitch, your case for the smaller player.
There's always a niche for owners who want to have something different. And we will not be able to compete against the big boys based on the threshold they have. But the benefits we come in with smaller brands is passion, flexibility, less bureaucracy, and also being actually more personalized. I think it is owners do have challenges across any agreement we sign. I think we are far more nimble in approaching these tasks or challenges and are able to act and react much faster in our beliefs and that's also able to support owners on their specific requirements based on their personalization or on their requirements.
Right.
Yeah.
But what you can't offer that the big boys can, for example, are the loyalty programs that they always go on about as being such a key to getting repeat business, getting reliable business. You can't offer this sort of global brand recognition which draws people in online. I can see different ways in which if I were a big player, I'd be looking at you and saying, yeah, okay, you talk a good game, but you simply don't have the resources we do.
Good point, but for every challenge there's a solution.
Yes.
In particular from our side, from JA Resorts and Hotels, we joined Global Hotel Alliance about a year ago. GHA offers a loyalty program where you have about 35 different smaller brands, more than 500 hotels joined together. So you do approach about 12 million guests they have in their portfolio. So there are opportunities even in the loyalty segment. And we see that with GHA covering brands as the Kempinskis, the Anantara, Omni, Corinthia, or even Capella, which just signed up recently on a luxury element. We tap into customer bases, which we as a smaller brand would not be able to do. And with the offering of GHA, we actually are able to speak to customers of Capella and Kempinski and prove that our brand is also able to deliver.
Let's explore online a little bit. Do you believe that the smaller, the niche players can use online in a way or have the capacity to take advantage of online in a way that the big boys don't, or at least you can be competitive with them? How do you use online?
Well, actually, I don't see any difference. I'm sorry. Because we use the same system they're using, the same technology they have. We use it now. It's only a matter of investment, how you can invest and set a company. And this is what we did in Time Hotels. I mean, we are small. We are created in Dubai, 2012. But the first things I got the funds from the owners. And this is where we set the company. And all my team are ex-Marriott, Hilton, Intercont, and I am myself Hilton. So we just sit more or less the same like them. Well, only things we dropped in the contract.
Yes.
From 300 pages to 40.
So you have a different approach to contracts. But
of course.
I'm interested, now that you've established you're an escapee, you escaped from the clutches of one of the big boys to create your own much smaller, more, as you would say, more nimble company. Just explain to me the different style that there is between your old home and your new home.
Easy. Open for change. Open for difference. They don't. They have to go for approval. Approval go to another approval. You get 2 weeks to get an answer. We get 24 hours and answer our owners. 24 hours, because the decision all in the office.
I would probably add that, just saying that, when you look at the big boys, typically they are quite rigid.
Hold the mic close.
They're quite rigid in terms of their marketing formula, so they have to follow certain protocols. And I think smaller brands, it becomes more creative the smaller you are. And again, it goes also down to the customer base. So Instagram, which didn't exist 10 years, 15 years ago, nowadays, when you get clients who you go out to market and they put their little comments down on the hotel, well, the cost of that versus a cost of a loyalty program is completely different. So you're actually buying the loyalty right from the start. As a niche operator, you're creating that little niche market, and that's how you can operate, and compete against the big boys.
I guess what I'm feeling as we continue this conversation is we need to define the small player or the niche player, because there's obviously a point at which when you guys, because you're all ambitious business people, as you guys expand in your niche, you're no longer a niche or a small guy. You're slowly becoming a big guy.
We are growing up.
Yeah, so
but I'll tell you what, 100 years ago, Hilton was a small.
Yeah.
Hilton just celebrating 100 years now, this year.
Yeah.
They were only one hotel. and now they grow up. And we are doing the same, but the same step
Yeah, but
study.
the thing is, there's a contradiction here, because on the one hand, we begin this conversation with you telling me, oh, it's so much better to be small because
Now-
we're more reactive, we're more flexible, we're more nimble, we make decisions in 24 hours, not in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And yet your ambition is to be a big boy.
Yes, but different setup. No, I had the same thoughts with my team, because now we are reaching like 13, and when we have 6 in pipeline. So next year we'll
just
do.
for everybody who doesn't know time, just tell us where you're at right now.
Huh?
Just tell us the scale you're at right now.
Okay, mid-range management company.
Yeah, but I just want to know how many hotels and
13 between hotel,
13.
apartment, and resident, and we have 6 in pipelines. By 2020, we target 20, which we already have, hopefully, if it's everything go on time.
So according to your own logic, you're slowly becoming less nimble and less flexible.
Yes, but
Well-
we avoid the progress what they have. Look, the problem is, I mean, I like Hilton, working with Hilton and Marriott. I have my colleague. I don't know how to put it to be more diplomatic in this.
You don't need to be diplomatic.
Okay.
We're all friends here. You can be as undiplomatic as you like.
No, but yeah, when you grow up, you have to be hands-on. The problem is the team here, they change. They change every 2-3 years. You have another CEO, you have another VP, and this coming with the different ideas. What we have in our company, this is what I'm trying to avoid: to put a system and to follow. If I stay, if I leave, it's the same things going through.
Right.
And this is one of the things we have. I don't know if this.
So to get
answer
back
your
to my
questions.
question, you're soon going to have 20 hotels.
Yes.
At what point do you actually think you can no longer be defined as a small player?
No, it's still small. 20 hotel is small.
Yeah, but are you hoping before too long in your business lifetime to have
Yeah.
100 hotels?
Yeah, I hope so. In the
Yeah.
Middle East, all
Yeah.
the capitals in the Middle East, with different setup,
Yeah.
with more we don't have a shareholder in our neck, so we can spend, we can expand, we can spend money and open more offices in every region. Well, I just moved my central reservation to Cairo. I can open another office in Saudi Arabia, central office. I can open in the North Africa. I'm going to South Africa in September with AHIC. It's easy.
Yeah. See, I'm interested in this whole thing about scale, what it means, what advantages it brings with it. Because again, just devil's advocate, looking at it from the point of view of the big players, they would say, because we have the size and the scale, we can differentiate different places in the market where there's a potential. We can focus absolutely on urban millennials, or we can go after adventurous hipsters who want a particular experience-based leisure time. Well, they can create new brands. They're doing it all that, spinning off more and more new brands. You guys, because you're small, you can't do that. You've really got one offer.
We can't do it, but I think we put far more effort and passion into
Yes.
it, because we are not the big ones. So the ideas, and we create gateway experiences. And for example, in the resort back in Dubai, we offer something which is pretty unique. You can swim with horses at the beach.
Right.
So it's a different offering, but I think gateway experiences is something which is very different and unique.
Yeah.
Small, nimble brands put far more thought process in it and have far more passion in execution, and can also guarantee on an approach. The big brands have fantastic marketing structures, which I envy, and they have big budgets, and they do really fantastic, cool stuff, where we can also learn from.
Yeah.
From a technology, from a distribution element, and we also look what the big brands do to see, can we optimize our processes and perhaps even copy those,
Right.
and maybe even perform even better and find even other opportunities around them, which the big brands can't do.
Yeah, but you heard the CEO of Rexus yesterday when he said, I am concerned about the customer satisfaction than I'm making the money, because when the customer happy, they will come again and again. This is what we do, what Thomas just mentioned, that we focus on customer service, on basics. We have to go basic to hotel hospitality.
Yeah.
Now big brand, they lost it. And I'm telling you, it will not last.
Yeah.
Because now they franchise, I'll let you know, no politics, no diplomacy, as you said.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with what they're doing. Now they franchise,
Yeah.
they signed in every streets in the road.
You don't believe franchising can ever give
This
the
is
customer the real,
I don't-
genuine connection, the experience you're talking about?
No, now you get me, and I'll tell you what. The franchise, and I don't know why the owners do this.
Yeah.
They do all the job and they still pay money. I cannot understand this.
Yeah.
And the difference is maybe 1 or 2%. Why? Give it to manage and control it. Yeah, it's much better. Now the big brands, which is not good for them, like Marriott, Hilton, they franchise.
Yes.
And they don't keep quality. They lose it. I stayed in franchise hotels or big brands. I was disappointed.
I wish we had a.
I
like
wish
this
if they are
morning, I
here.
wish we had a few of the big operators over here that could take part in this conversation.
No, really.
Maybe that's an idea for the next panel discussion.
And the second things they do, they sign. Before Mr. Hilton, when he started, or Mr. Marriott,
Yes.
he used to look at what? If you go back to the history and read how they build the company, location, location, locations, and then everything else comes. Now, no location, no whatever, just sign and increase the room number to increase the shareholder.
I hope
That's
you're
it.
not hoping to go back to
No,
Hilton one
never.
because if they're listening to this, you won't be getting a job there.
No.
Uh,
But I still have good friends there.
Well, you did before this afternoon, yeah. Okay, so one other key aspect I want to get you three to talk about is the degree to which you believe your organizations can offer more in terms of connection with local communities, local economies. You know, it seems to me everybody's talking these days about value which goes beyond the bottom line, which has hotels playing a role in their communities, being responsible, and also developing skills and employability for local people at every level, from senior management through to kitchen staff and everything else. You know, you need to be rooted in your communities. Do you believe that the small players can do that as well as, maybe better than the big boys? Talk me through that.
JA has been in the market, and it's a legacy brand. It opened its first hotel in the Arabian Peninsula back in 1982. So we've been in this market for quite a long time. We've opened Jebel Ali, Hatta.
How many do you have?
We've got 8 properties in total, 6 of them in Dubai and 1 in the Maldives and in the Seychelles.
Right.
So we're extremely deeply connected to Dubai and the UAE, particularly since we were the first to open, actually the first hospitality hotels in the region, and therefore we have built from there and are very deeply connected to the surroundings. Particularly also since our owning company, Datco, is a local company where we do quite strongly cooperations with.
You're German, right?
I am German, yes.
Well, why are you so senior in the organization? Why
I don't know why. Maybe because I'm selling and trying to get the development deals in place. So because it's quite easy. Where our CEO said, "You've got a good job. Bring the
But
development
the whole
in
point
and
is,
sell it at the same
I was inviting you three to tell me, oh, we're so much more local.
Absolutely.
We're completely committed to our communities, and yet here you are as a German, in a key position in a hotel, small hotel company that's rooted in the UAE.
Being 14 years in Dubai is already nearly.
I'm sorry, you don't qualify as Emirati, however you put it.
Additionally, based on what we rooted in Dubai, we actually, I think, have a unique setup in the Maldives. We actually own our own island and we also manage it. So it's the majority of the Maldives properties are managed, and you've got different ownerships. But it's a unique setup we have with our property where we actually had our owners buying the island and we manage it ourselves. Right. So there's also a very different uniqueness setup and a different focus on capex, on investment, and the way we run the island and also maintain the property and the way we deal with it. So it's a different setup.
All right. Well, you two, because it is important, and we've got, you know, the Saudis pumping vast amounts of investment money into their hotel sector, but talking about the importance of Saudiization. Are you very aware of the need to keep your hotels rooted in their place and their community?
Yeah, we opened actually one hotel in Dammam last month, and we have another one in Khobar. Saudization, it's something good, but I feel it's wrongly approached. Why? Because they force you to have 30% of Saudis.
Yeah.
But first they have to educate Saudi of the hospitality, how the service, or hotel school. But there is no hotel school. There is no how to serve or the passion for hospitality, and then you have to get them. But they don't stay also. So it's wrong. I think what the ideal one is done by the Emirates here. they start to have the hotel school. They not forcing everybody or not by law. You can have percentage, certain percentage. And Jabal Ali actually one of the best in UAE have locals. No, really, I was impressed when I went there. I saw few locals and well educated. You see the Dubai Tourism Authority, all of it, most of it actually local and well educated, all background hotel school. I think Saudi they will do, and some of them they are really good, very good. I got some actually. I brought them here to Dubai for training and send them back there, and they're doing great, especially the girls, by the way. Yeah.
Good. Andrew, and the other two have given us a sense of the scale of their businesses. So give us a sense of yours, and then talk about this, the localization issue.
Yeah. So from our side, we've got 74 properties across Asia at the moment, and 18,000 units worldwide.
He's one of the big boys.
So
yeah,
we are. But
are you here under false pretenses? Or?
Not really. We are a new sort of a newcomer to the Middle East. We're still very much a growing niche segment of the hospitality industry. So we work very much in the long stay.
Yours are less, the hotel, traditional hotel, more a mix almost residential suites. Or
so we work both in the short stay and the long stay markets. But from our heritage, we of course built up our brand reputation from the relocation market. So the apart hotel scene is something which we are growing quite quickly, and in Asia we've seen tremendous growth. And just going back to sort of the way we approach social responsibility and communities is that we do have a very in-depth training program in place. We are hiring and really having a succession plan in place, also for locals to come up through our properties to become general managers and on. That process is something which is ingrained in the Oakwood culture. So wherever you go around the world, this is sort of the mantra which we follow. That's.
See, I just think I'm seeing a little divide developing in this panel. You two, it seems to me. I'm not even sure you're a small player, but you're a medium-sized player. But anyway, the point is you two are hugely ambitious, and you want to grow and grow and grow and grow. Whereas you, unless I've got you wrong, your company is pretty happy where it's at. You've been at that place for quite some time. It makes you enough money to keep you happy, and you just like the size you've reached.
If we get 2 or 3 more properties on board, or maybe 5, but we haven't got the big ambitions to have 50.
You're not talking hundreds, no, I understand. So maybe this guy is the only really genuine niche player, and you are just wannabe big boys who haven't got there yet.
Fine.
Am I right?
Yes, 100%.
Am I right with you too?
I would say that we're a niche operator in a very specific market, so we don't follow the same hotel sort of approach.
And the market is, there is room for everybody. Believe me, there is rooms for everybody. In Middle East there is a lot of there is a room a lot in Saudi Arabia, in Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon.
Do you worry, as smaller players, for now at least, that you are seeing in the region so much talk of expansion of supply of rooms and hotels that your businesses could be affected by the sort of grand plans of the big boys? They are going to change the dynamic and possibly, frankly, reduce margins to a point where you will be the ones to suffer first because you don't have the economies of scale.
Correct.
Yeah, they do. They do actually.
And we see like I think everybody has seen the numbers today about growth, supply, demand, and we do see the impact and we feel it. Perhaps we can react on it a bit faster because we're local grown and we understand the market conditions very, very good. But yes, the more growth there is, the more system technology, the more cost of sale reduction, etc. There are challenges around that which we need to look at.
And you are arguably more vulnerable.
Correct. Yes.
So when we're talking about the potential and the great possibilities of being small niche players, actually you are more vulnerable. When it comes to a downturn, when it comes to challenging environments, you suffer first and worst.
I wouldn't say first and worst. I think we have adapted to market conditions, and we've got properties on the JBR Stripe where we actually compete against the big brands of a Sofitel, a Mövenpick, or even a Rixos, where we're able still to drive an RGI growth with a different approach and with different commercial strategies we have in place. So there are success stories. Yeah. Definitely we don't have the big engine behind us as the big brands have, where they can perhaps turn on the button faster than we can. So we need to plan more in advance. We need to be strategic. We need to be more focused. Right. And we also need to put far more harder work into it than the big brands, because they've got easier structures to maneuver with. So therefore the passion comes back to us, and being flexible and also being far more focused.
Just looking at Oakwood, you mentioned that we're sort of a medium-sized company, yet we still have that small company approach. And again, just looking at the way we have grown in a very niche market of this industry. So we started out as a long stay booking engine for relocation. We moved into the apart hotel arena, where at the end of the day we make we can turn on the taps of long stay demand and drive that short stay market to get the premium out of it. And again, looking at it, 74 properties and growing, but we are still very dominant in that market. And as a small company, I still think that if you can find your niche in this market, then it doesn't stop you from growing. Yes, the large boys are always going to compete, and they're always going to try and get into our space. But that's how you gain that market share. You gain the reputation in the market, and that's how you retain your customers going forward. So I think, looking at Oakwood as a good example, we have managed to sort of stand our ground and grow across the world.
All right.
I think adding to Andrew's side, if you look at, and Rixos brought it up yesterday on all-inclusive, JA actually was the first hotel company to offer all-inclusive within the UAE. We were spearheading the process, the offerings, and we still offer today an all-inclusive 365 days a year. We offer products nobody else offers in the market. So even being a nimble and a niche player, we're able to offer services even today the big brands can't. Is that because of the way we're structured, the way we set up, and even the way we run our business? We still offer all board bases between breakfast, half board, and all-inclusive. Is all-inclusive the right strategy? Is a different subject, but we were still able to make decisions faster from a strategic approach.
That's one thing that comes across from all of you, the speed of decision making, the flexibility.
Flexibility, easy to approach customers and adapt ourselves.
We're almost out of time, and I just want to see if there's any questions from the audience, but just, it's honesty time. Is it not the truth that in the end, late at night when you're dreaming your dreams, you all dream about being taken over by a big boy, so that you walk away with a fat paycheck and have no more responsibility?
I don't think we will be taken over.
No.
Are we really believing you when you say that? I mean, their appetite for M&A is huge, and they might look at you because you all have big plans to be very successful and grow a little bit, and at some point they'll take notice of you and they'll say, oh, I'll have a piece of that.
The financial results are positive, our owners for sure.
Yeah, but I don't think nowadays, because they just they do everything now. They go down to change, and they create brands like nothing, like, I don't know, like tailors.
I love it. You've so burned your bridges with your old employer.
Because for me, these guys are really something big. This is how I learned. This is how we grow up, and we saw them growing. So they should not go down to this level.
Mohamed, you're one of my favorite ever panelists, because you tell it like it is. So I love that. Right, we're nearly done, but we've just got time. So I can see there's a question with a microphone. So go for it.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Mr. Awadalla, how do you compare yourself as management fees and services to the big boys? Compare yourself to a Hilton or a Marriott or whatever brand you want. How do you compare yourself as an operator? Management fees, internal rate of return, and ability to secure financing from a bank.
No, I mean, we don't get finance from the bank, but we negotiate. I mean, like the big boys, we start also and negotiate, but we are more flexible because we have low cost and overhead team in the head office, so we are more flexible.
Yeah, could I just say that it's not always about fees.
No.
And fees can be very competitive against the big boys. I think there are subtle differences that you do find with smaller niche players, and that can be in the property improvement programs, where typically if you do, if you've got a building and you want to convert it to a big brand, typically you're going to have to spend an absolute an arm and a leg to create that brand, whereas small operators typically they are more flexible in terms of the duration of that of the investment. They're able to build or take over the property and manage that through the refurbishment process. So that's on one side. On the other side, you again have a lot of operators who they will change their brand standards according to what the market needs, not necessarily to what the HQ in America requires every time they decide, we're going to do the whole shebang, and everybody's going to have now a 300,000 new restaurant concept. So these are the things which I think where small operators do have, in some cases, a lot of benefit to owners.
Okay. Let's just see if there's another question on the floor. Speak now or forever hold your peace. I think. Well, I think as we're down to our last 20 seconds, we probably will draw a close to our panel discussion. I have to say, it was Thomas Schumacher, wasn't it, who said small is beautiful. And I think if I've ever met three men who are making an excellent case for the truth of that concept, it's you three. So I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you very much.
Great discussion. Right, we're elegantly going to leave the stage, and as we leave, I'm going to invite up onto the stage for a three-way internal discussion, which we're calling the development den, because it's all about how to find a pathway to the most efficient, low-risk forms of project development. I'm going to invite up onto the stage